This is Johnny Moe. It is 7:45 and just getting in. It's been raining in the forecast every single day. Today I got rained out like 4 or 5 times, and I mean, I come home, I go back, I come home, I go back, just trying to stay on schedule. It's very tough. I'm entitled in this video "Real Talk" because this is part of the business, and I got to be honest with you, I don't like this part of the business. This is the part of the business that'll keep you up at night. It's this part of the business that nobody talks about. The only time you see people, you don't really see anybody really talking about being the backed up and, not knowing what to do. Can't even cut the grass even after it's, rained because the things are growing so high. It's just like you can get them knocked down or try to bag them up. And, would like to, have some feedback. How do you guys handle wet, thick grass? Like, what do? You just knock it down? Do you bag it? Do you, and let's try not to be smart Alex. Like, I have this mower, it does awesome. Sorry, but just be realistic. Like, what are you doing with the wet grass? Are you leaving them a mess? Are you cleaning them up? Are you bagging it? How do you handle the weather? If honestly, if I can give you any advice, and you think that I would not pack my schedule out to the point where you have no room to do anything. Now, I have a Monday through Friday list. I'm realizing now it's probably a little bit too tight on Thursday because it's rained the last 3 Thursdays, and I've just been buried in grass for the next 2-3 days. I don't know when I'll get caught up. Out of 11 lawns today, I only got 5 cut, really only 4.5. I had a side-by-side. I finished cutting one, made one lap around the other, and it just started pouring, so I went home. And, I sat around, ate dinner, got my wits about me, and just watched the weather a little bit. And this is part of the business I don't like, guys. I'm just going to be honest with you. After 20 years, this is part of the business I don't like. It's the long hours. It's the, how am I going to get it all done? I hate it. I hate that part of it. It's all fine and dandy when April comes around, your first 3 cuts are zip, 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 and then all of a sudden they hit. And then now that they've hit, it's been raining every single day. Just lawns are soaked. We weren't black marking until just this last rain. The rain was just basically getting soaked in, and it would dry out a little bit. Then it would rain a little bit again. It was kind of like the misty rain, which is the absolute worst rain for grass cutting, is misty rain. I'd rather have a full-blown pour out than just sit and try to cut misty grass all day. It's miserable, especially in the spring, because the grass just never dries, and it clumps all over the place. You can't even clean it up. It just makes bigger clumps, smaller clumps, and then you're chasing clumps, and then you're starting to rut the lawn because you're going so many different ways. It doesn't look right. And then honestly, when you walk across it, you can see all of that wet grass down in there. It's just not good for the lawn. If you can, you try to bag it out, but you take truckload of grass off some of the lawns that you do. So what do you do? Like, how are you guys handling the weather? But if I could give you some advice, I wouldn't pack my days out. If you could live off of 4 days income, 4 days of mowing, and then maybe throw in some pruning or something, something extra for maybe Friday or Saturday if you want to choose to work like that. That's what I would do. I mean, honestly, I just really wouldn't do it because, once you get 5-6 days of mowing, you just get buried. You're buried once it rains, and once it gets high. You're flying through them just 2 weeks ago. Now your dollar per hour is down $15-$20 per hour, just because it's taking that much longer to cut them and weed eat them and blow them all off. And then you got to sit in a truck and wait for a shower to pass, and it's like, it's tough. And that's why I'm going to title this "Real Talk." We're being real, and this is a tough part of the business. And so what I did, just to liven up the video a little bit, I cut this back lawn, and half the lawn I cut, it just got done raining, it just poured, and half the lawn I cut with the ICD deck, and the other half I cut with the Toro Turbo Force, just to give you, the differences between the two cutting wet grass. Now, this isn't a fertilized lawn, it's not a thick lawn, it's the first cut of the year. It really wasn't that thick. I didn't have that much trouble cutting it. If I had 50 of those, geez, it'd be a piece of cake, but generally people like that don't want their lawn cut every week. They want it cut every other week. And, that's when it gets to be a problem, because you're always cutting hard grass instead of, getting, some easy cuts in there. So, but, let me know what you think, which side you thought did better. I thought the ICD did a little bit better. Let me know how you guys are cutting wet grass, what you guys do to be able to withstand, throw some scheduling ideas. I was emailing Lawn Care Rookie. It's one of my favorite channels. I really like his channels. And I asked him this question. I said, how are you scheduling? What do you like to do? And put that in the comment section, or make your own video and say, attention Johnny's mowing, or something, Johnny Mow, or something like that. Let me know how you handle it. Or, there's some people have a great characteristic, and I don't know if it's great or not, but, I really admire it sometimes, is they just don't give a rip. Get to it when I get to it. It's grass. I don't like being backed up. I like things on schedule. I like, in a perfect world, it would rain at night between 10 and 12. It would dry out by 8 o'clock. By 8:30, you can mow. Your grass would only grow a couple inches a week, but it's just not the case. And this time of year, it's very hard and it's very difficult. And the bad thing about it is Mother's Day, Memorial Day are huge, huge days. People want their stuff to look nice, especially on Memorial Day. And then the second rush would be the 4th of July. After the 4th of July, people start not really caring as much. But, in May, you're cutting a lot of grass, but people want their bushes trimmed up. They want nice, want mulch laid down. They want everything. I definitely don't like to mulch until after all the flowering trees have flowered and the helicopters have come down from the maple. I just think when you put fresh mulch down and then all that stuff falls in it, it's just a mess. I don't like to, but customers will bug you like, oh, I want it done, but you're trying to cut grass. And that's the hard side of this business. It really is. This time of year, it's just tough to deal with that. I lost another 3 pounds since our last update. Blood pressure's been relatively good. I did have one high reading in 3 weeks. It was 144/94. That just could have been a fluke. Could have been I was a little stressed. Could have been anything. Usually the blood pressure is right in where it needs to be. I keep a good eye on it, because I'm not on any of the medication, so I want to make sure that I don't play around. I just saw a lady who cut grass for years. She was my old gym teacher, and she cut grass for years. What was funny, I'll tell you the story and I'll let you go. What was funny is way back in the 70s, or I don't know when she bought it, but she bought Apple stock way back when, and she just cashed it in maybe 2 years ago. You won't believe how much she was worth. I mean, it was just so amazing. It just, the little things that people do at the time that you think they're insignificant, and then many years later you reap from that decision that you made back then. But make a long story short, she was a gym teacher, and on the side she would cut grass. She'd push mow all her lawns, little truck, pull out and she did it for years. And I seen her today, and I noticed that she was struggling a little bit. Her lips were down a little bit. She had a stroke, must have been within the last year or so. And it's serious to take care of yourself. It stinks. All the money in the world, even though she had Apple stock and she had a great job her whole life. It's tough to see someone suffer like that. And so take care of yourself. Watch your stress load this time of year. Just try to be positive as best you can, during this time, and try to enjoy life. And do this one thing. Answer this question. Why are you in this business? What are you striving for? Because on days like this, when it's rained 4 or 5 times, and honestly, if I did the books today, I just didn't make any money. I did some lawns, but I mean, when you factor in all the drive time you did, all the screwing around, today was just a bust. You just throw it all away and you start all over again tomorrow. But why are you doing what you're doing? That's so important to ask that question. And I hope you enjoy this little, thing at the end here that I put together. I don't have the GoPros. I just have my phone. I'm not going to sit and edit because honestly, I'm 42 years old. I have 2 young girls, and I run a business. I coach basketball. I'm in the midst of tournaments right now, and it's very busy. There's no way I'd have time to edit videos to make them look fancy and stuff. So I hope that you like what I tried to do here for you. And you guys have a great time. Please leave in the comment section, how are you handling wet grass? What is your mindset about being backed up all the time? How are you, how are you handling it? What mowers, do you find that cut wet grass better? Thicker wet grass, and how are you leaving? You just leave them clumping and say, hey, screw it, we'll catch it up sometime, or how are you doing it? So just leave that in the comment section. Let's have a little conversation back and forth. Have a good one, guys. All right, guys. Hello, YouTube world. What I'm going to do today is, it just finished raining. As you can see, my tires are absolutely soaking wet from driving up here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this little field. Half of it I'm going to cut with the Snapper Pro ICD deck. The other half I'm going to cut with the Turbo Force. So I'm going to go right down the middle, basically from that gas meter over, and then from the gas meter over. And I'm going to cut this, and we're going to see. Now, when I say it just rained, it just poured, and it's been raining, misting all on and off all day. So this lawn is going to be pretty nasty to cut. This is the first cut of the year, although it's not bad because it's in the shaded parts, but we'll see which mower leaves what after first cut appearance. All right, we'll be right back with the results. First mower, Toro. All right, my YouTube world, this is half the field cut with the Toro, as you can see. A few clumps up there, so we'll see how the Snapper Pro does. You can see my tires are still soaking wet. Lawn was really wet. I actually cut the back side of this lawn, and it started throwing a lot of clumps back there. It was really high and really wet, so let's see what this one does, and then we'll compare. Hello, my YouTube world, this is Johnny Mow, and coming to you with the finished product, Snapper Pro with the ICD deck versus the Toro Turbo Force. It just rained. As you see, the street is still wet. This side over here was the Toro Turbo Force. You can see good quality cut, nice striping. It did leave some clinkers. I call them clinkers. Some clumps here. Let's go over here, see what the ICD deck did. They both cleaned before the lawn was done. This is where I started. This is the Toro. This is the ICD deck. Cut quality, it's pretty close. They're both sharp blades. This is what the ICD deck did on this pass coming down. As you can see, ICD deck does not mulch it up. It just lets it go. Look how thick and high that is. Where that might cut it up a little bit more, but what I noticed is it causes it to clump a little bit more. I don't know if this side of the lawn was a little bit thicker, but over here, as you can see, a little bit cleaner dispersal. Did get into some thicker stuff over in here. Wanted to show you right there. So you guys tell me what you think, who won the contest here. Same field, cut it right down the middle. That side might have been a little bit thicker, but not much. This side over here was pretty thick, and that over there. So you guys let me know. To me, it looks like the ICD deck side discharge better in wet grass. In fact, it's starting to rain again right now. Thanks, guys.